Hey guys, we're going to be talking about Chris Paul, Jake Paul, Steph Curry, and Zion Williamson. Let's go ahead and get this thing started, guys. Okay, let's talk about the Jake Paul Ben Askren fight. And if we're being honest, Ben Askren got knocked the fuck out. I mean, my man hit the ground, night, caught the hands, snoozing, knocked into a different dimension. Guy was just slept. I was impressed by Jake Paul. Okay, a lot of people aren't, but I really was. He came in with the jab, a fake jab, and then just came in with the power. It does take a good bit of talent for that one knockout punch. I'm not talking about, a couple combination punches and he's knocked out. That one big and just knocked. Okay? That takes talent, whether people want to believe it or not. A lot of people paid for the fight expecting him to lose. They wanted to watch Jake Paul get pounded into a pulp, get embarrassed on live TV. That says a lot. He can pull an audience in. He's got a lot of haters. He also has a lot of people rooting for him. But there's a lot more people that want him to lose, want him to get knocked out. And unfortunately, he showed everybody up. A lot of people were mad. Whether they bought the pay-per-view, a lot of people bought it because they expected Jake Paul to lose. Mainly because even though he wasn't necessarily going against a talented boxer, he was going against an MMA fighter who doesn't have hands, but for some reason they expected him to lose. I don't really get it. There's a lot of people that are mad, and so the first thing they say is, oh, it's rigged. I saw so many posts on Twitter, Facebook saying, oh, this fight couldn't have been real. Askren fell on purpose or wanted to get knocked out. Let's stop this, okay? And it infuriates me because every time a sporting event happens and the majority of people don't get what they want or the expectations they had going into the fight isn't met, they automatically say it is rigged. I'm not saying by any standpoint that refs being paid off or that sports aren't rigged sometimes. What I'm saying is we can't use that convenient excuse every time our expectations aren't met. Every time Jake Paul doesn't lose, we can't say, oh, the refs were paid or Ben Askren just wanted to get his money. We can't use that convenient excuse. It's no reason to take the love out of sports because you were wrong. You were wrong if you thought he was going to lose. You can't be mad at your prediction was wrong. Now, all of a sudden, oh, it's fake. Truth is, Jake Paul's been training for a good bit. Okay? I believe 3-4 years. He seems like he knows what he's doing. And I find it very convenient also that every time he fights, or even before he was fighting, the goalposts for him keep moving. Okay? Before he even fought, he can't fight. He's just a kid. That he's just a YouTuber making videos. He's going to get knocked out. Okay. Well, then he actually becomes a boxer, somewhat. Amateur boxer, and he gets a fight with Nate Robinson. Everybody's like, oh, Nate Robinson's a professional athlete, basketball player. He's going to knock him out. White boy can't keep up. Nate Robinson hits the ground. Oh, Nate Robinson's trash. Jake Paul isn't really that good. Okay, so now we get bringing this fight into Ben Askren comes along, a professional MMA fighter who can wrestle at an elite level, but he has no hands. Okay? People are saying, oh, Ben Askren is going to rough him up. He's going to be knocked out. Ben Askren gets knocked out. Okay? In the first round at that. All of a sudden, right after the match, oh, Ben Askren laid out for the fight. Again, people saying it's rigged. Trying to knock down Jake Paul. He connected. This wasn't just a drop. by Askren. He landed, if you saw it. Let's give him his props. He hasn't went against a professional boxer or someone who actually has amazing hands. But everyone he's went up against, he's won. He's defied expectations. And let's give him his props. Okay, guys, let's talk about the real MVP. We're talking about Steph Curry. Chef Curry. In the last 11 games, Steph Curry's been balling. Here's his last 11 scores from the last 11 games. 49, 47, 33, 42, 53, 38, 32, 41, 37. Name someone else who's doing that. No one. And the crazy thing is, Steph Curry is just absolutely amazing, okay? He plays like Bow Wow and like Mike. The most unbelievable plays. He plays like he drunk some of Michael's secret stuff from Space Jam, okay? Absolutely just shots that you would never thought would go in. Just magically go in. It's like God sprinkled some little pixie dust, some magic dust on him when he was born and said, you're going to be one of the most amazing basketball players we've ever seen. I absolutely think he deserves way more respect than what he's getting right now, okay? You're hearing a lot of people talk about him right now. But in a few days, it's going to quiet down. And what needs to happen is he needs more respect in the MVP talks. The reason why we need to give Steph more respect is because the other two main candidates that's in the race, Nikola Jokic and Joel Embiid, are on loaded teams. And yes, they are winning way more than Steph is right now. Okay? But they're on loaded teams. They have a lot more help. The thing with Steph is most times when we see star players on teams that don't have as much talent, they tend to score a lot, but it's very inefficient. Steph is still being efficient. The most impressive stat about Steph is that he's still shooting 43% from three. Absolutely outstanding. Like we talked about, Bow Wow and like Mike, just making all the plays. Just can't believe it. Not only that, he's scoring 50% from the field overall. Most of the time, centers only do that. Okay, much less someone who makes most of their baskets from the arc. Okay, absolutely, still shooting efficiently. It speaks volumes. That even though he's getting double team, triple team, the whole game, he's still being very efficient. It's almost as if he still plays for Davidson. Let's be honest. I remember in the tournament when he played for Davidson, he got triple teamed the entire game and still put up a crazy amount, I think like 30 points. Okay? It's almost as if he's still playing in college and they're still trying to triple team him. I honestly believe that if you take away Joel Embiid and you take away Nikola Jokic, that there'll only be a slight difference, okay, in how their team plays. Early in the year, Joel Embiid missed a good amount of games, and his team still won 60% of the games, okay? Crazy. If Steph was out, the Warriors would lose every night by 40 points. I guarantee it, okay? The one time that he was out, he missed some games this year, 6 games to be exact. His team went 1-5. Okay? 1-5. Yes, 1-5 is a small sample size. I totally understand. Okay? So let's talk about last year when Steph missed pretty much the whole year. His team went 15-50. If we want to talk about the MVP, we want to talk about the most valuable player, then we have to talk about Steph. Because his team's won 50% of his games this year when he's been with the team. But last year, when he wasn't with his team, they went 15-50. If that doesn't speak to how valuable he is to the offense, to the entire team, then we're missing out. Steph is an MVP candidate. He should definitely win it. We can't use the excuse that his entire team isn't in the top seeds in the West. That's not an excuse. He is the most valuable player in the NBA right now. Whether you believe it or not is up to you. Let's talk about Chris Paul. Chris Paul is the franchise savior. Every team he's been on, he's increased their winning percentage. Okay? Not only that, he just passed Magic Johnson for the 5th most assists all time. That's crazy impressive. The way Chris Paul plays the game is timeless. He's the classic point guard. He's the pass first, score later, right? And I think the most underrated part about pass point guards, the pass first point guards, is that the leadership, specifically with Chris Paul, his leadership skills are next level. I believe that's why he's increased the winning percentages of every team he's been on. It has to be a reason why. And on and off the court, he's an amazing leader. I think he pushes guys. Specifically, this got brought up when he started playing for the Oklahoma Thunder, right? All these young, players, I think they were like the youngest team in the league. And he drove them to make a good stride in the bubble, right? He pushed them, especially young players that have an edge. A lot of past NBA players bash the current NBA players because they don't seem to really want to win. They, buddy with the, their friends in the league and, dapping them up before the game. Chris Paul isn't that. He's going to go at you for the whole game, and he teaches rookies that. He absolutely, he pushes them to have somewhat of the Mamba mentality, right? Shout out to Kobe again. Kobe in another video. Surprise, surprise. And he's teaching these young guys to be competitive, to be ruthless. I think he understands that leadership is a lot more important than how many buckets you put up at the end of the night, right? And he understands that the mentorship part of the game. He understands that the young kids need someone to be able to look up to, especially in the NBA, where almost every team is filled with bright young players who are still trying to figure this thing out. And he's not afraid. Chris Paul isn't afraid to take the reins and lead by example. It's very impressive. Right now, the Suns are 41-16. I believe they're second in the West. They're looking to make a huge run in the playoffs, sort of like what they did in the bubble. I think they only lost like 2 games in the bubble last year. Even Devin Booker has came out and said how beneficial that Chris Paul's leadership has been with him, and obviously the Suns are a young team too, with DeAndre Ayton himself, a few other young souls on the team. And Chris Paul's, again, leading the way. He's not going to put up 40 points a night like Steph Curry, but he's going to push those young guys in practice. He's going to show in the game what it takes to be a superstar. And even Devin Booker's, again, he said that he's learned a lot from Chris Paul. Not only with just this playoffs, because I still feel like the Suns have a lot of lessons to learn, specifically in the playoffs, that we should all be excited for the Suns' future. They're, the limits are boundless. Specifically, even when Chris Paul leaves, he's left lessons for Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton to learn to be able to take this team off into the future. Chris Paul's in his 15th year, I believe, and he's not going to be around forever. But the things that he's teaching these kids are timeless. Zion is the perfect role model for all these young players coming into the league. The reason why, a couple days ago, he had a post-game interview talking about how excited he was to play at MSG, Madison Square Garden. And the look on his face, the smile, the joy, I can't remember the last time I saw an NBA player express how geeked out they were to play in a legendary spot like that. Obviously, the Knicks for a while have sucked. They've been popping lately. But maybe when, we started talking about LeBron like that, when, he first played his first few times at MSG, we talked about it. But even LeBron wasn't that excited. And I think it speaks to how Zion Williamson, how just of a basketball nerd he is, of how he just wants to have a good time. He wants to play the game. He wants to have all these experiences. Specifically as a young kid, just having these things for the first time. How great of a spot it is. How, you feel the history when you step into the game. And he wants to be a part of that. He understands, even as a young player, he understands that he is the future of the NBA. And it shows. You have to love that passion that he's playing with. That we don't see. I mean, I would say Ja Morant has the same type of joy when he's playing the game. He loves the nuances of the game, the little parts that no one talks about. Zion is just he would play basketball all day. He just loves the game, and for him to be that excited in the press conference, just to talk about a venue he played in, obviously it's not just a venue, but a historical venue like that, and just be so excited, man. You, as a basketball fan, you have to be excited about the future, just like he is. That the future will be in good hands. Whether he's the next LeBron or Michael Jordan, we don't know. We're not sure. But he seems and fits like he'll fit into that role. If it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it might be Zion. He might be that guy. It's just really exciting. By the way, Zion's shoes look fire as fuck. It's the first signature shoe that I've seen that I've been excited for in a while. Shout out to Jordan doing their thing. I think he's the perfect kid to also step on board with Jordan Brand and hopefully have a groundbreaking shoe that everybody loves and people want, and not some whack, dad shoes. No offense to Steph, because his shit was ugly. But, let's be excited for that. He seems like an icon coming into the game. I also understand that with the Knicks' current success they're having, that Knicks fans are getting super excited about Zion, talking about, why he's so excited to play at MSG. That they feel like he wants to be a part of that. We know this trap. We've had this with LeBron. We've had this with Durant. We've had this with Kyrie. We've had this with Zion before he was, they were expecting him to get drafted to the Knicks, and everybody was so excited in the hype. He just understands the history in the venue. I don't know if he will play for the Knicks. I really don't. Why would he? Let's be honest. Hey guys, make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Please turn on notifications. I want you guys to get every single video when I post it, not 10 hours later. Also, share with all the friends you have. Everybody can get the love. Everybody can get the content. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you guys. Baby.